So
Yo.
you're not only a business coach,
They get anxiety, they get stress at that point of time.
mindset, which is like the most powerful thing.
So, how you picturize yourself in the social world, that actually is the biggest mental issue that's happening amongst
Mm-hmm.
all the youth or youngster.
Like there's like no
True.
room for this. I would say fake things, right?
Because they are now insecure because of the young talent that is coming up. Stop keeping expectations from people who are around.
So
Yo.
you're not only a business coach, you're kind of blend. I looked at your LinkedIn profile, kind of life and business coach, which is blend. So first, I just wanted to start off with mindset, which is like the most powerful thing. I mean, like you can be anything, you can do anything. You can have a lot of strategies which you can learn from YouTube. You can have mentors. You can get all the things you want, but at the end of the day, if you don't have a proper mindset, like we can never do anything right. I mean, like you might be the most talented, the most competent guy or girl in the room, but if you don't have the proper mindset, obviously you're not going to do anything. So my first question to you would be that like let's kick off with this. So what is the problem current youngsters are facing when it comes to mental health? So is it because social media, or is it because any manipulative thoughts? Is it because I would say like the surroundings where the people live? So like, what is your main thing which you would say that people are having this bad mind, not bad mindset, like weak mindset, I would say.
Totally, totally. So, what I would see, since I'm not just somebody who is creating content right now on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm somebody
Mm-hmm.
who's creating content on Instagram also, where I
Okay,
have
awesome.
10.2 odd K followers. So,
Wow.
there I end up handling all the people who are youngsters only. And this is
Mm-hmm.
the one very common problem I've been figuring out is that they actually fear a lot about social media and their social presence rather than what they are in their personal lives. I mean, a
Okay.
person would be so conscious, oh, how my picture is going to look on Instagram, rather than how that person is carrying himself in the real life. So, how you picturize yourself in the social world, that actually is the biggest mental issue that's happening amongst
Mm-hmm.
all the youth or youngster. Even I see people who personify themselves as somebody super, strategist and this and that on LinkedIn, but in the real life, they are actually going through a lot many issues. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what they portray on a platform or social media is very different from what they are going through in the real life. So I feel this is the one biggest problem that's happening is they are not able to accept themselves the way they are. They are just picturizing themselves, imagining themselves the way they want to become.
Makes
That is
sense.
one issue. Then I see is mindset in the positive direction is a biggest lack in the country right now. Why? Because we all are into the rat race of so much competition that okay, I want to
Mm-hmm.
do this and that, and everybody is feeling okay, we are backed off because of there is so much competition. So people are just so getting so negative. Even if they get through just one small things in their life that is not good for them, they get anxiety, they get stress at that point of time. I mean,
Makes
just
sense.
small things are
Mm-hmm.
hampering them and leading to so much depression and anxieties. Just imagine how they're going to handle the big end problems that are yet to be faced in the life. I mean,
True.
I say this one very, small thing to every individual who is in a youngster age of 13 to 25 who come to me with their problems. उनको यही बोलती हूँ कि यार तुमने तो अभी तक अपनी सिर्फ 25% लाइफ भी नहीं जी है. 1/4 life जिए and you're facing a lot of issues in your life still. You're getting into depression at this age itself only. Imagine when you'll have babies. Imagine when you'll get married. Your midlife crisis and all of those, just imagine. But they are so bound up in their own problems itself only. They feel their problem is the biggest one, and rest everybody is just happy.
Totally, it makes sense. The other day, just to add on something here, like the other day, I was just hearing a podcast. Like I couldn't remember exactly like who was in the podcast, but they said that actually a guy, he was a driver for a very rich guy, I would say. So he was a driver, but then he got a job in Dubai. Then he just shifted like for a higher salary, obviously. And then like what he did is once he shifted to Dubai, like he texted this guy. Like I think again like I couldn't remember the name. He texted this guy through LinkedIn, which is like really surprising. So the guy asked him like, why did you text me on LinkedIn? Like, like you're connecting with me on Instagram, like other platforms. Like, why did you specifically text me on LinkedIn? Though he shifted to Dubai as a driver, okay. So and then like he told me that let's imagine that you are in a room where all the other people are like very richer than you. Like maybe they are billionaires. You have just started, you're just being a millionaire. Like how do you feel? That's what she asked him. Okay, so for that, she said that obviously I would feel not odd, still feel kind of insecure. Like obviously when you're a room of all billionaires, great people, like we have this, no matter like how strong mindset we have, we still feel insecure, right? So that's what he replied. For that he said, this is the same mindset, or this is the same feeling I feel when I'm on Instagram. Get that right? Like
Mhm.
because like everybody kind of exaggerate the life, where they exaggerate the
True.
life, they put posting a lot of pictures on Instagram, but rather in real life they're not the same. So that's what he felt. Like he felt that like once when I'm on Instagram I feel the same, but it's not the same on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a lot of helping others, giving a lot of
Exactly.
strategies, tips, and things like that. Like there's like no
True.
room for this, I would say, fake things, right? So which was like really powerful, like as you said, it was like really powerful. Like people, the social media, though it is giving a lot of opportunities, to be frank. I mean, like people, they were like like so, I would say they couldn't have any privilege, but once they have the social media, they could kind of start their own podcast, create content, get a lot of opportunities. I can say
Totally.
all the privileges on and on, but still, though it is giving a lot of good stuff, on the other hand, like it's kind of taking you to the very bad position, like if you're not leveraging it properly, right?
True. Exactly, exactly. So this is, that has been an issue which
Mm-hmm.
I see not just, I would say, mid-age or young people feel, but this is what is the things that all the older people who are into the management field or who are at
Mm-hmm.
the senior position level, they also have started feeling the same thing because they are now insecure because of the young talent that is coming up, and they are doing brilliant things, so they
Makes
don't want
sense.
to accept. They don't want to accept. I you won't believe, I have just visited this organization a couple of years back, and
Okay.
I said that I want to do something creative. They said
Mm-hmm.
you can do something creative, but don't expect it before 7 to 8 years. You spend in this organization. Why? Because the people who are above me, they don't want to accept the changes.
True.
When you
Makes
will get
sense.
onto that level, then you make the changes. Don't expect before. I'm like, how are you going to grow the organization like this with these pathetic people? But that is what it is. Even it's insecurity is just not amongst the youngsters, but the older ones also now, which
It's
I feel is not right in terms of you getting into a corporate life any day. I mean,
true.
आप अगर आप insecure ही रोते रहोगे तो काम कैसे कराओगे? You can't
Makes sense. I mean,
channelize that.
yeah, this is something new, I would say, because me, obviously I am a this so-called popular term Gen Z, so to speak. So since I'm in that age group, like this is something new, which you said that even older people are getting this insecure by looking at a lot of these talents, looking at all these things. So that's kind of, so we just talked about this. So again, like coming to a recipe thing, like what is your recipe? I would say, like, or what is your strategy in order to have a strong mindset? At least to get started, to get started with having a very good mindset, so that they can kind of live their life to the fullest. Because at the end of the day, when they become old, or like when they reach after 10 years or so, they shouldn't have this guilt feeling, right? Or like maybe due to insecurities I haven't tried that, maybe I would have tried it. Like guilt feeling is like very bad, right? Which we cannot accept. So like
Yeah.
what would be your advice to have a very good mind, I would say?
Okay. For me, I would say there is no such recipe, but I would say
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I've been implementing in my life that helped me personally when I was onto my lows in life, that
Okay.
totally helped me personally. I have been guiding so many students. Stop keeping expectations from people who are around you. Once you do that, आपकी 99 problems वहीं खत्म हो जाती है 99% problem. Why? Because you think the other person should be reacting in a positive manner when I am going and showing my content. That is not necessarily the same thing. That will not happen always. I mean,
Makes
you should accept the criticism. You should also accept that other person will come and complain to you. That is okay. So I always say stop expecting from people and start giving more. Once you start giving more, you will have no worries in your mind that okay, इस इंसान ने ऐसे react नहीं किया जैसे मैं expect कर रहा था. Most of the mental issues pertain because we can kind of expect a lot of things in our relationship from our seniors, from our managers, or from our, let's say, LinkedIn community. For example, I am putting out the post, that does not mean everybody have to come and react on it.
mm,
That is
makes
not a
sense.
thing. What I am liking because I am creating it necessarily does not mean that all the people who are on LinkedIn will like it too. Right. So once
Okay.
I stop expecting, I'll be able to, give more and more and more. And that's how I guess we'll be able to flourish in life. So for me, the mantra of getting into a positive state of mindset is stop expecting and just do whatever you're doing your way, because it should give you happiness at the end of the day.
Makes
You're
sense.
not doing anything for the sake of somebody else, but for yourself. And if it gives you happiness, I guess that's the best thing you can explore.
Very true. I mean,
That is what I say.
just bit of a sarcasm here. Like I wouldn't say sarcasm, but though this don't expect anything from others is a kind of cliche because it's been used by I would say like more than like a decade ago. Like it's been used for a longer time, but still it's like very powerful. Obviously, as you said, let's say for example, even I have this podcast. I've just started this podcast, so I cannot expect overnight success. Like I cannot expect like 100,000 downloads just within like one day. Obviously, this is just me. I think this is my 11th or 10th show. So obviously, I have to do a lot of other show. I would say like unless and until I
Totally.
hit this 100th number, even if I'm not getting any results, like I shouldn't be upset because that's how social media and that's how community is built, right? Because the community at the end of the day is like real people. It's not just some reaction, some it's not like that. It's like real people. So how do I get for you to be in my communities? Because like I have to like continually give you as much value as possible, like without expecting anything in
Good.
return. My only intention should be that I have to help you as much as I can with whatever knowledge I have. So like once we stop that expectation, maybe we can grow. It's gonna be like really helpful. But though it's cliche thing, it's gonna be like really helpful for all the people who take that mantra and
Exactly.
accept it.
It's cliche. It's all the old people who have given this statement, but I guess it really makes sense now. How I see people getting into spirituality now is
Mhm. Yeah,
something is the same thing.
very true.
People are started to accept this thing also, not expecting thing. So I feel the old era is coming back now, because we are now able to realize the all the mantras all the old people or our grandparents or forefathers have given us. Now they are
Exactly.
making much more sense to our life, I guess.